Hello, everyone. Welcome to the News Browse News broadcast. Amid stalled negotiations to end the conflict with Iran, U.S. President Donald Trump stated on May 12th that Iran faces a choice: agree or suffer devastating blows. He explicitly indicated that the United States would not hesitate to resume military action if an agreement is not reached. President Trump asserted, "We completely control Iran. It's either they agree or they receive devastating blows." He emphasized that he would only conclude a good agreement that would be very good for both the American and Iranian people. Subsequently, Trump criticized fake news on social media for reporting that Iran, the enemy, is militarily superior to us, calling such claims absurd and virtual treason. This news comes from readiness NNN. NHK reports that Iranian officials have publicly affirmed their strong ties with Beijing, emphasizing that China's stance towards Iran will remain steadfast despite pressure from the United States. This declaration comes ahead of an anticipated visit to China by U.S. President Donald Trump. Iran's ambassador to China highlighted the two nations' deep historical and cultural bonds. Meanwhile, an Iranian foreign ministry spokesperson sharply criticized U.S. negotiation demands as unjust and an imposition of will, stating that such unilateral approaches would not be accepted by Iran. The spokesperson also issued a warning that Iranian forces are prepared for every scenario, including a potential U.S. ground operation. In response, President Trump indicated he would only make a good deal with Tehran, noting that the ceasefire is under review and previously described as being on life support. News reports suggest Trump is considering further military action to pressure Iran on its nuclear program. Though strikes are unlikely during his China trip, the cost of U.S. military operations against Iran is estimated at $29 billion so far. Yonhap News Agency reports that Samsung Electronics Co. and its labor union failed to reach a wage agreement on Wednesday, escalating fears of a major strike scheduled for May 21. 2 days of government-led mediation talks collapsed, leaving the parties sharply divided over performance-based bonuses tied to the company's artificial intelligence (AI) earnings. The union demanded 15% of operating profit, removal of the payout cap, and formal institutionalization of the bonus system, while management proposed 10% of operating profit plus a special compensation package. Choi Sung-ho, head of the largest union, indicated that over 41,000 workers intend to strike, potentially rising to more than 50,000, and stated they would proceed legitimately. Samsung Electronics expressed regret but vowed continued dialogue to prevent a worst-case outcome. Observers fear a walkout could severely disrupt the global semiconductor supply chain and harm South Korea's export-dependent economy, with potential losses exceeding 40 trillion won, with $26.8 billion. A district court decision on Samsung's injunction to restrict the strike is expected by May 20. The possibility of government-invoked emergency arbitration remains, though officials declined comment. Japan posted a record-high current account surplus of 34.52 trillion yen, $219 billion in fiscal 2025 through March, marking a new high for the third consecutive year. According to government data reported by Kyodo News, the surplus rose 15.0% from the previous year. This significant increase was primarily driven by goods trade returning to the black and substantial increases in returns on foreign investments, which were further buoyed by the weak yen. Primary income, reflecting earnings from overseas investments, saw a 2.1% rise to 42.28 trillion yen. The goods trade balance shifted from a 3.03 trillion yen deficit in the prior year to a 1.36 trillion yen surplus, with exports growing 3.3% to 111.35 trillion yen and imports decreasing 0.8% to 109.98 trillion yen. For March alone, Japan recorded a 4.68 trillion yen current account surplus, up 29.9% year-on-year. The current account balance serves as a broad indicator of international trade. According to Yonhap News, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un inspected several munitions factories on May 11, as reported by the Korean Central News Agency, KCNA, on May 13th. During his visit, Kim grasped the fulfillment of military production tasks for the first half of 2026. He instructed increased production of various types of bullets, including high-precision multi-purpose, special function, and training bullets to meet demand. KCNA also reported that Kim emphasized the strengthening of military power for mortars and curved trajectory guns, and outlined key objectives for modernizing and specializing artillery shell production facilities, such as establishing dedicated production complexes for artillery weapons and sniper weapons. However, specific details were not disclosed. This inspection is part of a series of military visits by Kim, who, on May 6, reportedly announced the deployment of new 155mm self-propelled artillery, capable of reaching Seoul, to the southern border. On May 7th, he also boarded the destroyer Chohaeon with his daughter, Ju Ai, to oversee comprehensive evaluation tests. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.